We got some big news for us today before we get too far into this. We'll see when we start the episode here. Okay.
When we actually started.
Or when we actually...
It's been 4 minutes of nothing but drivel and garbage.
That's what we do. We drivel in garbage here. I'm fine with that. That's why I literally hit record in the middle of our conversation. That's what the Double D experience is all about.
Always 4 minutes of D&G, drivel and garbage.
Exactly. That's how we start these.
Episode starts. So
You'll know this. Come on.
At this point, it's been, episode 179,203.
Yeah, fun fact, last episode we went on for like a half hour just talking about chain chomps and shit, so I decided to make it a bonus episode because we wanted to make the whole episode about Velma. And in lieu of Velma, we're going to be talking a little bit about animation here today in my topic. I literally was already going to talk about this today, in general, what was going to happen with animation and what was going to happen with this particular show. You probably know what I'm about to talk about. It's not Velma. We talked about Velma last week.
Talked about it enough.
Some crazy, spicy news on the timeline today. Justin Roiland will officially be replaced and recast as Rick and Morty. They are going to recast the roles, and the show is going to continue until at least season 10.
That was the plan. That was the deal, or that was like the plan initially?
That was the plan. Because after season 3 or season 4, I don't know if anybody knew this. It wasn't the biggest press release in the world. Rick and Morty got picked up for like 8 seasons. Adult Swim renewed it for 8 more. 8 more seasons. You know how colossal that is to sign a contract guaranteeing 8 more? That's insane.
Yeah, that is insane.
And this was already after Rick and Morty jumped the fucking shark. You know what I mean? That's nuts. And now, to anybody who's been living under a rock, or under a cock, as we like to say here at the Double D Experience, we all know what happened at this point. We're a little late to the party on this one, because we briefly mentioned it last week, I think, or the week before. I don't remember. Justin Roiland, who I'm sure most of you have heard of, and if you haven't heard of him... Wait, that's a burp coming up. I'm gonna say Morty as soon as I get the burp out. Animation is fucked. Hollywood doesn't give a shit about it anymore, Morty. He tried to turn me into the government, so I made the government go away, Morty. I made the government. That's my favorite line in the show, by the way.
Can I also just say one thing real quick?
Yeah.
The Rick's voice got old really fucking fast.
What do you mean by that?
Your little bit that you did annoyed the shit out of me.
Like, really?
Like, I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's like, not you particularly, right? But I've seen and heard so many people do fucking Rick and Morty impressions, like,
as is going to happen
all the time.
When
Since the beginning, since fucking Moses wore short pants, everyone and their fucking mothers have always like done impressions of these two, right?
Yeah.
And like, bro, the first time, mildly funny. I got a haha out of it, out of gritted teeth. But I don't know what it is just now, and maybe it's just because like I watched the first season a while back, and like I've always watched like clips here and there, and I never was like way too interested to like kind of watch it. I guess because I'm just too small brained, to understand the show and shit.
To be fair, you have to have a pretty high IQ.
Yeah, exactly. I have to have a high IQ, and I clearly don't have that. So
yeah,
that's why I just couldn't enjoy it. You know what I mean? And like David's whole bit just now, something just grinded my fucking gears. Just
I play competitive Smash Brothers, Morty. Yeah, I'm a Dr. Mario main.
I don't know what.
He's got a doctor's outfit just like me, Morty. I'm Dr. Rick.
I'm not gonna go into it.
Can I briefly mention why we're talking about this today?
That's just where I'm at.
We briefly mention why we were talking about this today.
Yeah.
Before we go off too far, Justin Roiland, he is the co-creator of Rick and Morty.
He's a co-showrunner, right?
He's the co-creator with Dan Harmon,
who
who created Community as well as a bunch of other shit. And I think he's the one obsessed with incest. I don't know. Yeah,
God damn it.
Oh, don't do the Rick voice without warming up your pipes. Oh, shit. Not good.
Not good, Morty.
Not good, Morty. I can only say Morty. And this was
pissing me off
anyway.
Right now.
Sorry, I'm done. Can we fucking get to it? Justin Roiland
go.
is a co-creator of Rick and Morty. He is getting Omega canceled right now. I'm talking Omega Bertha Booty Buns Deluxe. No, like he's getting canceled by the law. He was recently arrested in his home, I believe, on counts of domestic violence against his girlfriend, as well as false imprisonment. Which, if you don't know what false imprisonment is, if you were confused about it like I was, it's not, it's not when the law, like, accidentally jails somebody that doesn't deserve to be jailed. Like, oh, this guy, we thought he committed a murder, but he didn't, and that's false imprisonment. No, false imprisonment is when a civilian holds another civilian somewhere against their will. And apparently he was doing that with his girlfriend. Or some shit. Like, he would literally threaten her, something about locking her in their home or some shit like that. All sorts of horrible shit, really. And ever since that story came out of him getting arrested, a lot of other women came forward, actually, about in, like, DMs and shit. Like, apparently he's, like, DM'd people, like, trying to get with them and stuff. As is one to do if you're single, but there's a way to go about these things, especially if they're not, borderline underage, like some of these girls were. Like, even though it's technically legal, and you know me, I don't give a fuck about age differences as long as they're both old and mature enough. Like, I was 22, my girlfriend was 32, I don't give a fuck. I lost my virginity to a woman 30 years older than me. I don't give a fuck about none of that. When one of you is in, like, your 40s and the other one, like, just turned 18, I'm sorry, that's inappropriate. Even if it was a young dude and an older woman, hooking up is one thing, but like trying to get with them like that, it's funny. There's a bit of a double standard to it, but
Do you remember the girl that came out on Dr. Phil's show? No. Catch Me Outside. How about that? Remember that girl?
Oh, is that where that meme comes from?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was off of an episode that they did. And
that doesn't surprise me.
And you want to know a funny story?
Yeah, please.
So, this chick, by the time she came out on that show, I don't know what age she was, but she was not 18. Okay? So that's important. We're gonna hold that to the side for a little bit, okay?
She was, in fact, below 18.
Yes, she was, in fact, below 18. But, it was about a couple years back that this same chick, who became internet famous, by the way. The internet made her famous because of that one line itself.
Mm-hmm.
She went on and made an OnlyFans. And as soon as she turned 18, she just made the OnlyFans, right? Do you want to know how much she made off of the first couple of, like, weeks? Do you want to know, David?
How much did she make?
Fucking millions. Millions of dollars. And obviously the main, takeaway of this story was the very fact that people were literally, like, laser focused on this chick. Laser focused, just waiting for that calendar to flip the page and she turned 18. That, like, it was, honestly, I'm less mad about, like, I mean, the money, really. Like, her making money, I couldn't give less of a shit about that. But it was just, like, something about that whole thing, reading about it, was honestly made me feel, and obviously should make anyone feel low-key kind of disgusted, because it's like, bro, really? Like, that's kind of gross, like, no matter how you look at it.
How do you mean? Like, because, like, she started on TV, like,
because
before?
That was just the same as anyone waiting for a girl to turn 18, but, like, on a fucking international scale. The very fact that she made millions off of her OnlyFans, like, basically not even, like, a full month in, since it became, like, official, right? Basically was just telling me that there was millions of dudes, millions of people, literally just waiting until she turned 18. Like, they were just waiting for porn of her to come out. Like, that was what...
Yeah.
Like, That's what, like, kind of really disgusted me, at least. I don't know, maybe, like, anyone else has, like, other different reasons, but it's just kind of like...
I feel like it's a conversation people are not ready to have yet, you know what I mean? Because, like, regardless... I mean, that's already creepy enough, I agree. But... I feel like OnlyFans girls can complain about parasocial relationships, and that's fine. Obviously, like, when, like, a guy comes into your DMs trying to do this and that, it's whatever. But I personally think the very nature of OnlyFans kind of thrives off of it.
They do.
I
but
feel like no
they
one's
do.
ready for that conversation either, to be honest. Like, literally, without the simps, you're not
They have
gonna...
no. They have no thing. They have no market. I mean,
That's
well,
what
to be fair,
It's
I
like
mean,
Simpson
guys always
e-girls
have a
are...
bunch.
My ex-girlfriend told me this all the time. She always told me, like, David, Simpson e-girls are two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Like,
One can't exist without the other.
That's how she
Literally,
finished
yeah.
that sentence.
Yeah.
That's how she finished that statement
She's
verbatim.
absolutely right. Yeah, she's absolutely
Yeah.
right. And
So,
I mean, but the thing is that like it's one thing if it were like Sims, because it's like I think there's like definitely levels to it where like you graduate beyond like because I mean at the end of the day all OnlyFans is just you're paying for porn.
keep going.
Like that is what it is, and like since I just have you guys here for a bit, it's like like really at the end of the day like that's all it is. It's like it was back in the day for us, like way back when before OnlyFans, our OnlyFans was a browser subscription. Now nobody has a browser subscription at all anymore.
Can you give me 1 sec? My fucking my dad's freaking out. I have to call him real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I'll be right back.
I'll be here with the folks. It's like, all right, guys, I'm here checking in on you. But like, that's the thing. At least that's just how I viewed it. Like just to repeat, our like OnlyFans back in the day was a browser subscription. That was what like we paid monthly for to get the porn, and then obviously Pornhub like became a thing, and we just went on to watch that, and that's like about it. That was how it was for a while. And then obviously, OnlyFans comes around, and like one thing that I always hear, at least people how they talk about it, is that like, oh, OnlyFans is different because it's more of a personal, like it's personalized. Like they can customize the content to match whatever fucking needs that you have to it. And going back to what David said about like how I guess OnlyFans or like the OnlyFans girls, I guess, or e-girls, whatever, like are the only ones that are like kind of ready to have like that parasocial relationship or like to have that conversation about it is I think is correct, and is also maybe not so much. I mean, because it's like it's that whole relationship that we like that I guess society have with that is definitely a new one. It's like it is new, but it's also not really, because like this is literally just basically like kind of paying for strippers, but it's like it's online, and everything that we can get like online is just like so easy to obtain. Like all you need to do is just like pay a bit, and like there you go. And it's like unless you're paying, I don't know, like 200 plus for an OnlyFans girls subscription, like I don't know if you are doing that, but it's like at the end of the day, it really is just like it's kind of just instant like gratification, like in my book. Like there's really like not much difference to how I guess kind of between, let's say, when a guy went to a strip club and like got a lap dance or whatever, and for that experience, like you're actually there, like you're actually like seeing the girl and all that. But with the way that I guess male virginity is just like kind of just been rising, like more and more like as the years go on with men, it's like everything's just being the fact that like you could just sit at home and just like bust a nut like on your couch like while on your phone. It's like, why would I ever want to do that? Like they would rather do that anyways, just because it's like it's in the comfort of your own home and everything. And I don't know, like maybe there is like a study out there. It's saying like if ever since OnlyFans became a thing, like there's less people going to strip clubs. Like I don't know if that is like a study out there. It would be interesting to see, just because it's like at least for that instance, like you go to the champagne room and get your fucking dick sucked and fucked and all manner of other debauchery, like you have to pay for it, but hey, like at least you can do that. But buying like or buying the services of like an escort or a prostitute are obviously like way more expensive than, let's say, like customized OnlyFans content. So I mean I guess it really just at the end of the day, all this boils down to is just fucking money, really. Because, like, if you want, like, you know, just, I don't know, like the visceral experience of like getting hard and seeing a girl dance for you and dance on you and fuck you and suck you, like, you know, obviously you just go to a strip club and like just pay for them services, and then boom, there you go. Like, you know, it's like you got your night, you know, of that. Or like, you know, obviously, like that's for, you know, for all the people who do that, like, you know, I have no shame for that. It's like, but I guess that's also a really funny double standard for me, because it's like, you know, I see people who pay for OnlyFans subscriptions, and like their main thing is that like maybe their main argument is that like, yeah, I could do all of that at a strip club and possibly blow like blow a good amount of money to do that and have that experience, but it's like, but I could, let's say, like bust a nut to like, oh, like spank bank material that was customized just for me for the fraction of the price. And funny enough, you would think, and I think it is probably a misconception that like people think like, oh yeah, strippers make a lot of money. They actually do not. And it's probably, I really wonder, like, is it, in going back to strippers again, like, just as how I said, like, maybe the level of customers have kind of gone down since like, you know, OnlyFans have become a thing. Are there now less strippers going into like work for strip clubs because of that? Because like they realize like, oh, I could just put on a show online and not have to worry about people touching me or like, God forbid, anything else happening to me. I could just do all of this that I do at work, let's say, at home, and like I don't have to worry about like no dangers to my personal being like whatsoever. I really wonder, maybe there is like a connection to that. I really wonder, because it's like the whole, what do you call it, the boom of like OnlyFans like really only became like such a big thing like during like the pandemic. Like it really exploded, at least around that time, and everyone was just home, so they couldn't go to a strip club because everything was closed. So it's like, oh fuck, my only alternative is my left hand or my right hand, so like better find something. And then obviously like that whole thing with OnlyFans like literally just like fucking soared into the sky, like just took off. And like, you know, digital porn, like at the end of the day, like is so much more like accessible. Even like after the pandemic, it's so much more accessible, because it's like, you know, I don't have to, like, I could just do it at home. I could just jerk off to this stuff that's customized for me at home. And in a way, like, you know, obviously you ask, you know, a stripper's going to ask you, like, if you paid for her services or personal services. It's like, okay, like, you know, like she'll ask you, like, oh, what do you want me to do? You know, like, what is it you're into? Like, stuff like that. And that's more kind of maybe into the escort territory. But
Were
like,
you talking this whole time?
Yeah, I've been talking this whole time.
Oh, for real?
I have a lot to say, man, because I was like trying to correlate. Maybe like one thing that I tried that was like talking about was that, like, you know, have the, like, ever since like OnlyFans like straight up took off, right? Have like the level of, let's say, customers going into a strip club, as well as even strippers trying to work at a strip club, have gone down since then, just because it's like, look, at the end of the day, because I compared it to like basically going to a strip club, like, and basically OnlyFans like experiences, it's the same fucking thing. It's just like, okay, like you're just having this at the comfort of your own home, you pay less for it, and you literally don't even have to move. You could be at home and just watch this, and that'll be just as good for you. And not to mention, there's even another level to it where like you even have like VR porn. Like you literally, like, I mean, you know, I never tried it. Like I don't have a VR headset, but it's like, I could imagine it's like, probably, it looks real dystopian in my opinion. Like you see it, go watching VR porn like on that fucking gigantic ass headset, and just like seeing all that shit going on. But it's just like, it looks as if you're actually there. But I'm at the same time like, at that point, why don't you just go to a strip club? Like, and just go to the champagne room and like get your dick sucked and shit. Like at that point, it's like, you know, that's like, I'm like rambling here, but like,
I was about to say, like, what wasn't I talking about Justin Roiland?
Yeah, and then I went on to talk about
You got to that, like, what the fuck?
OnlyFans. Because I don't know nothing about Justin. I don't watch Rick and Morty. And to be fair, at the same time...
Sounds like you're too stupid to watch Rick and Morty.
That's what I mean. Yeah, bro. I'm too ape brain. Like, I'm like, I could give a fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, not that that this dude, like, actually abused people, obviously. But, like, the very fact is that if this show was erased from the face of the earth, I would not miss it at all. Not because I hate it, mind you. It's literally because, like, I couldn't give a fuck about it. And for all the fans out there who do love Rick and Morty, more power to you, really. Like, I have nothing terrible to say about you.
I feel bad for them, to be completely honest. I mean, my cousin is a huge fan of Rick. What do you fucking mean? Why?
No, like, explain.
Because there was a horrible... It turned out the guy who created their favorite show was a fucking monster.
That doesn't mean you're a monster watching it.
I never said that.
Yeah, so why the fans have to feel bad, is what I'm saying.
What? Why
do they have to feel bad?
Okay, so if it turned out the dude who fucking made The Sopranos raped like 3 girls, you wouldn't feel like the slightest bit like, oh, that sucks. It wouldn't. I know it wouldn't get you down to the point where like you.
I'd still watch it.
That, dude, you're like taking words like out of my mouth right now. I never said you fucking wouldn't. I never said.
Would I feel bad?
For at least like a fucking minute, like I don't think it would ruin Sopranos.
Oh
for
no,
you.
I thought
wouldn't
you were
just
talking
be
about
like,
else. No, I literally did take what he said out of context.
Yeah, like I never.
Like,
obviously I would. I just had the most stressful ass fucking dipshit ass conversation with a family member. Like I was gone for like 10 minutes just now, and that was just a life shortening conversation I was having. I had a family member who was freaking out about the most mundane, stupid shit, like trivial ass shit I've seen in a fucking.
That's old people.
Yeah, like not even like old stubborn people is what it is. But so forgive me if I got a little short with you just now. Speaking of short,
fucking Chinese made a mic arm.
Your microphone went a little limp there, my guy.
Yeah, this conversation's making my dick limp. That's why.
Making mine too. Honestly.
Well, no, yeah, keep going. Continue.
Okay.
So also to clarify, yes, I would feel bad if David Chase, if I did find out that he raped 4 women, but at the same time. I would still watch the show.
Dennis,
but
I'm not talking about...
No. But I would feel like just a 10%, maybe even less than that, like 2% amount of guilt watching it because it's kind of like...
I'm not talking about guilt, though. I'm not fucking... Yeah, I'm not talking about guilt. I'm not talking about, like, quote-unquote modern audiences that, like, you know, they make shows like Velma for, like, these modern audience that they swear exist. I'm not talking about people like, how dare you watch Rick and Morty? How dare you watch that shit after Justin Roiland turned out... I'm not saying that at all. Nobody with a fucking brain is going to talk to Rick and Morty fans and be like, how dare you still watch that show, blah, blah, blah.
There's some mouth breathers that would, though.
Yeah, but
there really are, man.
I don't fucking focus on them.
No, I know, but
I'm talking about, like, people... Somebody made an art that you love, and it turned out that they were a horrible person. That is not irrational to say that,
Allen?
like... Yeah, Woody Allen.
Yeah, like someone like him, right?
Yeah, he's also super creepy.
Yeah, like he has that like 18-year-old fucking wife or whatever. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that doesn't. I don't know. Woody Allen is fucking weird. I don't know too much about that story.
Do you think he's like on another class, like, of like creepy? But like his art is the only thing that prevents him from ever like getting like fucked, like from the industry.
I mean, he hasn't made a movie in like a while.
But, like, all his stuff that he's made is his legacy. Like, everyone, like, says, like, oh, yeah, like, I remember that movie. It was great. Like, no one ever has anything bad to say about that, apparently. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, his works are remembered fondly. And, I mean, I give shit to Kevin Spacey plenty of times, yeah. But a lot of roles that he's been in, like, I mean, they're not really sort of, like, one-in-one equating to the movie success. But it's, like, a lot of roles that he's been in a lot of movies that I've watched, I think he was great. I unapologetically, really. But it's like, I know that he is a terrible person. Like, behind all of that, after I finish, I'm just like, why did it have to be Kevin Spacey, man? So, like, you kind of, like, almost make a deal with yourself. It's like, why did it have to be you, man?
Yeah,
why did it have to be you?
Gonna be seeing Rick and Morty and how, like, people are gonna treat it after that. Like, I guess, like, they'll feel better because he's not involved with it at all. Adult Swim, like, this is a news break that just happened today. Adult Swim has completely cut ties with him. Like, they ended
Which is good.
They ended their association with him. The show's gonna continue. The crew's at work on season 7 literally right now. And all I can think about is the fact that the influx of what the casting director, that poor casting director, who's gonna have to sit there all fucking day and listen to the shittiest, most garbage ass, bottom tier, I want to be a voice actor.com impressions of Rick and Morty.
And they'll send their shitty YouTube reels of like
there's gonna be a guy coming in like,
terrible.
It's a terrible thing that happened with Justin Roiland, right? Yeah, that raping's bad. It's a bad thing to be a raper. That's what. It's a bad thing to be raping. That's what I always say. That's what my grandpa always said. It was a bad thing to be raping.
Like, okay, all right, yeah, we'll call you. We'll call you next. Yo, can we get the next person, please?
Oh no, wait! You didn't hear my Rick.
No.
It's a bad thing to be a raper. It's a bad thing to be a rapist,
get
Morty.
Him the fuck out of here! And this is like you just hear him go like, but Morty. Just see him like literally being
How
dragged
many
off
people are going to walk into the office be like, I'm Pickle Rick? And they're just going to be like, yo, get the fuck out. Oh,
I always wondered that because
this is going to be huge. This is really interesting to me. I want to see who gets it. I want to see who gets
main character recasts is very rare. It's happened, but it's very rare. And I always wonder, it's just like you got to go to the casting director and he's just like he showed up early.
Oh my god, yo.
What?
I just saw this tweet is funny as fuck. This guy says Justin Roiland will be hard to recast though. He didn't just play Rick and Morty, but loads of minor characters. He did. He played a lot of minor roles on the show and stuff like that. Google Justin Roiland minors for a full list. Did you fucking hear that?
I did. That was a good one, actually.
That was a really good one.
That
one deserved That one deserved all the likes that it got.
All 12 of them. I don't know if this guy. I don't know how big this dude's Twitter is.
And there's people who are also saying to just kill it, just end it.
Nah.
But they can't.
I don't think
they
so.
are never gonna do that. Rick and Morty is not only the biggest cash cow Adult Swim has had since the fucking vent. It's their flagship show at this point. Not only are they not gonna do it for like the money factor. Rick and Morty drastically changed the landscape of animation.
Yes, I did.
Because now, if an animated show is not #1 trending on everything, it will get canceled in 2 seasons now. Proof is Inside Job.
Netflix and HBO have all done it. So
yeah, Netflix especially recently with Inside Job, which was trending every time there was a new episode of that show. And had a huge dedicated audience, got greenlit for season 2, was halfway through it, and then Netflix just decided to can it. And even that show, took roots in its animation off of Rick and Morty. You ever notice that with a lot of new animated shows? How they all fucking animated style look like fucking Rick and Morty now? You know, Rick and Morty did some damage to the animation industry. I'm gonna tell you that straight up. And as fucked up as it is, a part of me is just as happy of Justin Roiland getting canned, not only for the fact that he was doing horrible shit, but for the fact that he single-fucking-handedly changed the course of the Western animation industry. Because the same shit that happens with Western animation getting canceled all the time doesn't happen with anime. Anime is a whole different story, whole different landscape, whole different streaming services, whole different way of casting voice actors,
different world.
It's a whole different world, and I can tell you that because animation or anime is not supposed to be included on your demo reel as a voice actor. Anime reels are literally separate from cartoon reels. It's completely different.
I did not know that.
Yeah, if you put anime on your fucking character reel, you're gonna get cringed at and laughed at out of the room.
Really?
Yep.
Oh. I mean, so then how
Because anime voice acting is different. Like cartoon.
Obviously.
Yeah, I can do a funny voice. I got a chin chomp on my desk.
But
kind of sound like a discount Ray Romano. And then anime is over the top.
Yeah, because it's very melodramatic.
I have built the most powerful gaming PC the world has ever seen. You know, it's a lot of yelling.
A lot of yelling, a lot of melodrama. A lot of, just over-emotion in a lot of cases. There's some shows that I've watched where, at least the dub voice actors, they sound fine. I don't really have a problem with them. And at the same time, it's it's just when you have a show that is so overtly anime, it is very hard to ask your English voice actor to make this sound believable in any way. And I've heard plenty of times where English voice actors basically just said fuck it and just said whatever and whenever and just said it however they wanted. There was that one, like, I don't know if anyone's remembered the show. It was like this one anime from way the fuck back when, and like there's like a cat in there like who could talk, and like he says like some wild shit that I would have never thought to ever hear.
Yeah, dude, I love Garfield.
Oh, not Garfield, you mook. Fucking one of the greatest animes of all time. I know. No, that's Cory in the House. My bad.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, my bad. You're right.
Carve it in the house. Yeah, it's a party every week, baby.
Bro, I don't know if you ever watched. Oh no, I think I did show you. It was that one show of that one clip. That dude who was swimming, right? And he's just overly acting. He's like, Mama.
And then he finishes and he's like,
so, you like my swimming? It's like shit like that. It's like I love to see.
It's a very different kind of acting.
I know.
Anime.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like I love
even
it
in Western dubs. Even in Western dubs,
it.
It's very different.
I love it when they have fun with it though.
Yeah.
I love it when they just don't give a fuck. And it's just so funny.
I love it, especially since a lot of those anime voice actors are not being paid. So I'm glad they're at least having fun. Like there's one Smashcaster. There's one Smashcaster who was literally in the latest season of Chainsaw Man.
That.
I don't think they played a main character, but
you get paid pennies.
If anything, because like I remember they tweeted about it. And everyone's like, "Yo, let's go!" Like, yes, man,
your
pop
pay,
off! Like you're the goat or whatever. And I'm just sitting
pay,
here like I've taken so many voiceover classes and have learned so much about the industry that I'm thinking to myself like,
Your pay.
You didn't get paid for that
exposure.
shit.
Your pay is your exposure and that little entry you could put onto your IMDb.
No one's gonna remember the exposure. The shit, the credits go so
that's
fucking fast.
But that's what I'm saying. For those like animation companies, like let's say Funimation, whoever, like that's what their contract is to the voice actors. It's like, look, you
would get a minimum to Anime Geeks.
Yeah.
After this, we promise.
And you get to put that on your IMDb bio. And it's like, and then the guy asks, like,
it is basically your LinkedIn.
The guy has the balls then to ask. It's like, oh, so, okay, so then what about pay? It's like, pay? What do you mean? It's like, yeah, like, pay. Like, I need food and bills to pay. Like, like I need money. He's like, we don't do that here. You want that? You go to Adult Swim. Like, it's like, just literally fuck off. Like, bro, we're not paying you.
You want minor pay? They rover minors over there. No, that just an FYI, Adult Swim, that wasn't a dig on you. You don't love minors over there. That's why you fucking canned Roiland. You guys are one of my favorite networks, despite the fact that you canceled The Venture Brothers, which I will never fucking forgive you for, literally ever. But you're also allowing them to finish it with a movie. So thank you. Thank you for at least letting the show have a proper ending.
I truly wonder, too, because it's like, going back to the industries, at least go real quick, like East and West, right?
It started with The Venture Brothers. You remember The Venture Brothers was halfway through writing season 8, and then it got canned.
Yeah.
And so many animation shows right now. I'll just be real with you. Unless your name is Puss in Boots, and you're on the big screen, the silver screen, they don't give a fuck. Because animation is expensive to make, and unless like a show is trending number fucking 1, because you gotta pay the voice actors, you gotta pay the animators, you gotta pay the storyboard artists, you gotta pay the screenwriters, you gotta pay all that shit. Wanna know what the cheapest shit to make is? Reality show. Yeah, unless you're Disney, where you're so much of a
you literally have just fuck you money, and like if animation's like in your DNA.
About Disney, at least, is that they have fuck you money, and they're not like struggling like Warner Brothers Discovery is right now.
And they also pay their
because of David Zaslav. Fuck you, by the way.
Who is David Zaslav?
He's a big old person in charge over at Warner Brothers, and he's the guy who is pretty much responsible for a lot of their animated shows getting canned. So yeah. Warner Brothers, HBO Max. Yeah, like
he even looks like a cocksucker.
Yeah, the animation industry.
He's the whitest dude I've ever seen.
Oh, dude, the industry hates this fucking guy because of the shit that he's done. And Netflix has an algorithmic measure for this. They measure a show based on how it performs on its premiere night, and then after how it does after 2 weeks.
Yeah, on social media, particularly.
Yeah. No, not even on social media, like it's metrics. I think social media
No,
is
but
one
they
of the
also
things that
but they take that into account. They have to. Like
they don't
have to
take it
see-
into account nearly as much because Inside Job, I'm not kidding. Inside Job was trending. The only reason I even know about Inside Job as a show, its mere existence, is because it was
Didn't they
trending.
get a season 2?
Yeah, it got greenlit for a season 2. They canceled it halfway through.
Oh my god, you serious?
Yeah, halfway fucking through,
David.
my dude.
And let me just
They
clarify something.
greenlit the show. They said, second season, let's go. Fuck you.
Let
Go
me
fuck
clarify
yourselves
something.
halfway through it.
Let me clarify something. The entire time you were mentioning that show, right? It sounded so fucking familiar, but I just
Yeah,
did not
it's
have
trending every week.
I just did not have the desire to look it up
Every-
until now. And I've watched clips of it. I thought it was a very well done show. I have not gotten around to watching it yet. I kind of want to now, but it now pains me. It almost kills my desire.
You might as well not watch it now.
That's what I
because
mean. It
the
almost
show's
kills
not
my
gonna get a
desire.
proper ending.
Yeah, it kills my desire to even watch it at all because it's like, okay, well, season 2, like they, basically just dicked on it and just said, nope, just threw it out of the fucking window and just
The
said, nope,
show's
we're not gonna do it.
Trending every single week. It has such a dedicated fan base. It gets numbers. It's highly accredited. Both critics and audiences.
Love it. Like,
So why the fuck? Like, they're basing this shit on algorithms just like fucking YouTube does. It's not accurate. It's just lazy and a way to not pay more people. It's such bullshit. You really think you can measure a show's entire worth based on how it performs on its premiere night and then how it dwindles in the next 2 weeks? Is Velma gonna get more than 2 seasons because of that shit, even though literally everyone hates it, critics included?
but they're watching it. But they're hate watching it though. That's
Dude, less people are hate watching it. I didn't watch the rest. I didn't watch episodes 3 and 4. I said I was gonna. I'm not doing it. The show the show Borderline started promoting pedophilia, and that's where I drew the line. Yeah, it's so fucked. I literally the worst. I can't. The show's not interesting enough for me to even continue supporting it under any regard. So, this is something I've been meaning to talk about on the show for a long time. Animation, Western animation, the industry is fucked right now. It is fucked. Fucked. And it makes me so depressed. Not only as somebody who, likes voice work, who dabbles in it from time to time, but whose true passion is writing, who wants to write for animated television. The more I think about my show, and I'm not going to lay out too many details of it, obviously, I think I could genuinely make it great, genuinely make it relatable, genuinely make it appealing, as well as marketable as a huge thing. I went through all the checkpoints, and I honest to God think with the way that these shows are made, with the algorithmic measures that they have for trying to get people to like them, like Velma should twerk because kids like twerking.
I'm still sad about that whole thing. Like,
yeah,
God damn.
It makes me think unless something massive changes, like hashtag New Deal for animation, I don't think it could ever get made. Despite me honestly thinking it's great and original, which I'm sure a lot of people think about their stuff, and it has plenty of work to do. I'm not a professional writer by any stretch of the imagination, by any fucking means. I don't even think I'm that good yet, to be honest. But at the same time, it's so sad to see. And if there's one good thing about anime is that this shit doesn't happen as much with anime. Because it's made in a whole ass different country, for the most part.
But it's still localized over here. And
still localized over here, and when it gets localized over here, they don't even fucking pay their voice actors if they can get away with it.
Yeah.
We talked about this a couple months ago. Lead roles have been paid mere hundreds of dollars for hundreds of thousands, $1 million franchises. It's so fucked right now. For movies, it's completely different. Hollywood, when it comes to movies, they love animation. That's totally different. Puss in Boots is literally one of the most highly accredited movies.
If done well. There have been tons of shitters.
Oh yeah, of course. But dude, we need to see Puss in Boots for you to see it for the first time, and we need to talk about it because that movie was legitimately fucking incredible.
Did they mention Shrek at all?
Yes.
Okay.
He literally appears in the film, not as a cameo. I'm not spoilers or anything like that, but he appears in a flashback.
Oh, okay.
And there's teasers and shit at the end, Marvel teasers and shit.
Okay.
So yeah, dude, I'm telling you, the movie fucked.
The movie fucks.
It was literally, dude, it was borderline better than Shrek 2. I'm not joking. Borderline.
Come on.
Borderline.
That's a pretty high bar though.
Yeah, but I mean, there were callbacks to Shrek 2, so I guess it's the basis of
what is Fairy Godmother and Prince Charming.
No. The Shrek characters aren't in it. It is a pussy centric movie. It is a very pussy centric.
I hate you for making that fucking joke. I fucking hate you.
Hey, there's two cats.
Your time on the
And
mic
one of
has
them
been
is
cut
played by
off.
Salma
For that
Hayek.
terrible joke alone, your mic time has been cut off now.
Yes, Daddy.
But
My voice hurts from all the screaming I've been doing.
I don't know. I'm just really wondering too. Because like I know when anime gets brought over here, right? And like obviously when a lot of those animation studios, like not studios, but I guess like localization companies, because like Funimation don't make anything. They just literally provide the localization work for the shows that they get from across the Pacific, and they just get the actors to go and localize it and translate it, and obviously like play the parts in English. But I honestly, like, I think probably that the reason why they do that is because of the fact that like a lot of those animation studios that we know of, like Mappa and Bones and a lot of others like from Japan, they do not make enough money to pay not only their Japanese voice actors but also, let's say, the English ones. Because in a perfect world, that animation studio should be paying for both the Japanese and the English voice actors in a perfect world. But they don't want to do that because obviously it would be immensely expensive to do so if they're gonna give them, like, let's say, a decent decent pay. I don't know what decent is, like, then, because I don't know what the level of that is, it is at all. But like, it's no wonder. This is all me just brainstorming here. I don't know shit. But I am thinking that the reason why that obviously Funimation even exists is solely based on the fact that they provide those localization services for those other shows that come over from Japan, and they get the casting directors, they get voice actors for it, and obviously they provide direction, and like
Get voice actors and exploit the shit out of them.
and exploit the shit out of them, yeah. But it's just like that's like the services they provide for, let's say, like a lot of the anime studios that we know of. For anyone that in our podcast right here knows of any of those studios, like, yeah, obviously, because Disney.
Crab meat avocado crunchy roll that I had yesterday was better than that fucking service.
I even wonder too, because like we have plenty of also like movies that get localized, on the opposite direction, like across the Pacific or the pond, and like
I have no idea the logistics of that. Like,
but that's what I
they
mean.
have like,
because like if it is like a straight up money issue, but I honestly think like for a lot of places it's not, because at least for Disney, they should be paying their fucking people, like, obviously, like, regardless. Like, I know Disney is who it is, obviously, as we know. The mouse isn't exactly the most, like, positive fucking, entity in the world, but it's like, at least I'd like to imagine that, like, anyone who is working for Disney are getting at least a decent paycheck. Like, those animators, they don't make pennies over there. It's the reason why that Disney, at least at one point, and I think they still are, they're trying to headhunt Japanese animators to go over there because of the fact that, hey, we heard that your country provides you terrible working conditions, and we have pretty decent ones. Actual first world fucking like working conditions for an animator.
The crunch is ridiculous right now because they expect a lot of the animators to also be storyboard artists and get them done in like crunchier times as well. It's so fucked, and like they can't work in those conditions, so it makes like the quality of the shows worse. It cranks them out on an inconsistent basis, and on a matter like all because of just fucking greed of not being able to want to pay more people. And part of me, it's not really 100% Rick and Morty's fault, but I do blame Rick and Morty. Because Rick and Morty was so huge, so successful, so popular, trending every fucking day, to the point where, like, I feel like if a show is not trending number one now, an animated show is not trending number one now, I feel like corporations just don't fucking care. They say it's not worth all the extra money that it takes to make animation, because animation's different. It's not like reality TV where you plop a camera in front of a bunch of stupid dickheads who want to be famous without fucking earning it, and then you have a show. All you need is that. There's no script. You don't gotta pay no screenwriters. You hardly have to pay a director because there's no direction with that shit. It's a camera and you edit it. That's why there's so many fucking TikTok reality shows right now. It's just a dickhead with a camera.
It's one of the most.
What's cheaper than that?
It's the most effortless production that any studio could make.
And animation is the most effortful.
Yeah.
That you can make.
And the thing is that they, like, obviously with the way I think even like. Not really so much Western in general, but I think primarily if we're talking about like the American mindset and how it thinks of animation, they do not want to do. I mean, maybe this all just chalks them up to being lazy, I guess. But it's like they don't want to basically throw in a ton of money for something that will take a ton of effort And at the same time, they're always thinking of like the bottom of their of just their bottom dollar, really. Like that's what they're always like, bottom line, sorry. That's what they're always thinking of, like, flat out. Like, it doesn't matter what the business is and what it creates. As long as my bottom line is at least what I expect it to be or even more, fuck it. Do it. And for a lot of studios and production companies, reality TV shows or reality TV show-esque type shows are literally their bread and butter because of the fact that it is stupidly easy. And I mean, if anyone's ever worked in film or what?
Do you think there should be a streaming service just for cartoons?
Absolutely.
Would that solve some things? Because a big part of this is that, you know, streaming services, it's a whole different...
That company has to have money, though. It has to have a fuck ton of money, because if they want to do that, they have to do and be something different. They actually have to be the new industry standard.
It could be a subsidiary of like a company, like maybe Netflix or Hulu.
No one is going to pay for that, though. None of these companies are going to be paying for that, because it's like, well, because like everyone likes to think they're just a big umbrella, because Amazon has their own studios too. They do fucking everything. Everything is within like their studios, from Invincible to the new Lord of the Rings show. Everything is made under them. There is no separate entity or subsidiary that goes and like takes that project and does with it what they will. It's all under their like under their supervision in a way. Mm-hmm. I guess that's the best way I could think of. And the only reason why that anyone would ever decide to make, let's say, an entire, let's say, service / studio, because it's going to be a studio too, mind you, David. It's not just going to be like, oh yeah, we just provide anime, because Crunchyroll already does that. If they want to be truly...
Well, not anime. I was talking about animation.
Well, no, animation in general, yeah. But like, if they want to do something like that, like, you know, they got to be more than kind of just what Crunchyroll is. They got to be more than like just being a provider of, let's say, those shows for people to watch. They have to legit be like the industry, or they have to strive to be that industry standard for which everyone, if they want to become, let's say, like a showrunner for any show, they go to these guys and ask, hey, not essentially being like the Netflix of animation or whatever, but it's like, look, we are going here because, for one, they will treat us right. They will pay us right. And at the same time, they'll also, like, you know, obviously for any sort of studio, like, you know, one of the big things is that you have to provide an environment for a lot of your creatives to kind of grow and, like, you know, obviously prosper. That's like, because you're going to want to grow and nurture that talent.
They don't treat them like that.
But the fact of the matter is, at least for the West, they don't do that because, like, you know, everyone is seen as disposable. We don't give a fuck if you did provide, like, us hundreds of millions of dollars off of, like, let's say this role that you did. I couldn't give less of a fuck, because I could literally just kick you down the road and then have another guy, like, basically they're already waiting on the wings. That's also the main thing, is that, like, they know that, let's say, for a lot of roles and for a lot of shows, they have tons down in, like, on the pipeline, just waiting to be kind of, like, just being thrown out there.
Well, every streaming service is just trying to increase their library. They just want to have, like, the biggest library, the most diverse library of shows. That might be another reason in part why they cancel. Netflix cancels, like, every show besides, like, fucking Stranger Things and, like, Big Mouth. God Christ, who the fuck is watching that
Squid
show?
Game.
And Squid Game after 2 seasons. Like, dude, they're not going to do that with those workers. They treat them the same way that they treat their metrics. They don't look at who's actually watching these shows. They don't look at the fact that Inside Job is trending on every single fucking social media platform every single week. They look at how a show performs in the first 7 days and then the last, like, 28. They pay attention to the starters, the people who click a show, decide they don't like it, and only watch the first. And, like, how they could retain them later on.
But that's why I'm also saying that, like, what happened with
you treat
Inside
human
Job,
beings like algorithms, you're not gonna get good shit in return.
But that's why I'm saying, like, the way they also treated Inside Job and that whole case of how that whole shit happened is egregious in every sense of the word, because of the fact that, like, look,
the animators are devastated, by the way. Like, I've seen a lot of, like, responses from them.
This show was doing hella well, and the hype that it was getting. That's the thing. It always kind of, I don't know, hype is always, like, a very tricky thing to kind of, like, really factor into, like, I guess, like, a show's, like, potential, like, mortality, I guess. Because it's like, you know, if the hype's not there, then okay, well, I guess, like, you know, we shouldn't, like, I don't know, probably some studios do think this is like, if the hype's not there, then why even bother at this point? Because it's like, if it looks as if, because, like, you know, the way that a lot of metrics and shit is always like kind of factored in and stuff. And my sister, actually, she works in for a company who her job is essentially this, and she tracks all that down and everything. And like, maybe I should maybe ask her like a couple more questions before I maybe like say this, but it's like, you know, in the case of Inside Job, like, you know, it was undeserved, like what happened to it. It like, that whole cancellation was the biggest load of horse shit that I've ever read in my life. Because it's like, it wasn't like the show was already like on its way out before it even came out. Like, and also going to David's point again real quick, it's like, you know, the way that a lot of, like, it's so fucking weird to me too that, like, how is a company that promotes or that at least provides entertainment, which all depends on the creative process, mind you, like, it all stems from that. Not entirely, obviously, you still need money to make a fucking show, but it's like, you know, the heart and soul of it is the creative process. And how is it that you essentially treat what is considered to be 50% of a project, the creatives, as nothing more than disposable numbers on an Excel spreadsheet? Like, I just don't understand. Like, it's, I mean, it is dehumanizing, because it's like, and like, the way, like, even back then was pretty abysmal, like some conditions, like, thing that some of these people worked in, and the way that they were even treated. It's like, back, like, today we treat people like as if they're numbers on an Excel spreadsheet, right? Back in the day, they literally treated workers as if, like, they're just, we have to pay them because they do the important things. It's like, the view on, like, at least people, like, you know, how they, like, how the bigwigs would say, like, the worker bees, like, they've treated them as if, like, you know, they're necessary. We need them. I don't like to pay them, like, that much, but hey, I have to. Like, Walt Disney would have been essentially, like, you know, the whole Walt Disney Studios would not have been anything without, like, the, like, army of animators that were basically, like, working in warehouses to, like, get all these shows, like, out. And it's probably not gonna happen in our time, but at the very least, like, a shift in this bullshit has to fucking happen, because this cannot go on.
There's a hashtag.
It should be unsustainable.
New deal for animation. It's a documentary coming out pretty soon that the Roundtable was promoting. I watched a video called Streaming Hates Animation today.
After David's thoughts here, we're going to wrap it up here, guys.
Yeah, called Streaming Hates Animation. And I'm going to link that video in the description, actually. When's
it coming out?
No, this video's already out.
How long is it?
It's like 10 minutes.
Oh, I thought it was like a full-length, like, documentary.
No. It's promoting
like
a full-length. It's promoting a full-length documentary in the second half of it, and it's talking all about, like, how streaming hates it and the modern landscape of television. Man, everybody says we're in the second golden age of television. I think we were, but we're not anymore. We're not. Because there's so much shit that gets cranked out, all because every streaming service is competing with each other, you know, to try to fucking, like, be the best streaming service. We're paying more for it than ever. Instead of paying, like, however much we were for, like, cable or whatever, now you're paying, like, $30 per streaming service.
That's why I yo-ho.
It's like, we're paying more for it than ever, and we don't own any of the content. It could just be pulled at any time. It really is true what they said. In the future, we're going to own nothing and be happy about it.
That's what
it's crazy, man.
Remember how I even told you, like, this is the reason why that, like, I buy even, this is a little bit unrelated, I guess, but it's like, this is why I buy, like, physical copies of games.
I still download games, I just don't support cloud games. That's the different practice. Like, I downloaded Mario Odyssey, I don't have a physical copy of it. It's still on my fucking Switch, like, on its hard drive.
But it's like, having it in your hand, though, is the ultimate fucking reminder to anyone that, hey, I own this. I have a physical fucking thing in my hand that says that, hey, I own it.
Nah, somewhere NFT bros are fucking losing their shit at the fact that you just said that. But it
My
can be
point-
digital, then you can own it too, bro.
It's the reason why that I still have some real. I mean, you'd have to do some real heinous shit, I guess, to get your Steam account locked by Valve themselves. But it's like, look.
That's actually why I restarted my computer, because like Steam wasn't booting up properly.
Okay.
And that's yeah, fun.
But like,
facts.
for at least in the
Fun
case of
fact time.
Steam, right? It's like you have like a library, let's say, of like hundreds of thousands of games. I don't know why you have that much to begin with, but it's like, hey, if you have the money, fucking do whatever you want, I guess. But it's like, but at any time, like let's say if my account got hacked or whatever, I just won't have those games anymore. And even going to streaming services, right? It's like, oh, like you are paying for a service, not for, let's say, a show, because that's different from, let's say, like pay-per-view. That's how pay-per-view was. You paid for that show to watch.
There should be an option on streaming services to pay a little extra for a download function.
Oh, that would be.
They should do that. You should be able to pay like $10 extra if you're willing to have a premium subscription, and with that premium subscription, you can download it onto your device, your Fire Stick or your iPad or whatever it is.
Or even
like,
put it on the
depending
cloud.
Or,
Just like you can watch
or
it
even well, in the cloud, you still don't technically own it, but
that's fair. But it's like,
still,
hey, you could take it anywhere. Like the
extra money to do that, and then God forbid they pull the show, which they will do eventually. I firmly believe even Avatar is not going to be on Netflix forever. It's not. They're eventually going to pull it off.
The Last Airbender?
Yeah.
Oh, is it still on there? Oh shit.
Yeah, no, it still is. It's still there.
God damn.
Yeah, and so's Korra, your favorite show.
Just a likable bitch in the Four Nations.
No, that goes to Velma.
The Four Nations?
In every nation, apparently. God, that
When
fucking
Velma
meat,
came,
that,
the Four Nations.
that
when
meat
Velma-
canyon video.
When
Dude.
Velma. Well, hold
I
on.
just want to flick your bean. My
Velma.
ears.
When Velma came, the Four Nations did not live together in harmony. Let me tell you.
Daphne, Fred, Norville. All lived in harmony until the fucking Velma Nation attacked. Slight positive note to end it on. I don't know if I'm going to title the episode this. Put it on screen. # New Deal for animation. Support animators. They're the hardest working people in the fucking industry. You don't even know. I've worked with animators. It is insane, the crunch and the bullshit that they have to deal with, and it's getting worse and worse because of corporate greed nowadays. So be like Guillermo del Toro and go on stage at the Oscars or the Golden Globes and wherever he was at and say that animation is not just for kids, no matter what the fuck you think. He had such a huge cock for that, by the way. The fact that he did that and stood on stage and said that, he said fuck you to all those fucking people, to all those fucking, like, executives who still think animation is just for children. Like the guy who took over Disney and then got canned for saying that. You remember there was a guy who
Bob
was the
Iger?
No, not Bob Iger.
The new guy that took over, right?
No, there was a new guy that took over and they canned him already.
Oh, he wasn't even there like for a full year?
No. Yeah, I think it was hold on, what was his name?
This is why I always tell you guys, it's not the CEO that has a lot of the power, it's the board of investors.
No, it's still Robert Iger. You're thinking of no, he's the current one. You're thinking of I think it was Bob Chapek.
Yeah.
Who took it over for a while, and he made like a whole video like talking about like how he thinks animation is like just a children's medium, blah blah blah, this and that. And I'm just saying, it was actually a couple months after that. I'm sure there might have been some other reasons. Disney got Bob Iger back.
Yeah.
Like he stepped back in, and thank Christ.
Well, also, at the same time, you don't basically diss Disney's, like, soul. That's what they are. Like, you don't diss
As
it
an
like
adult,
that.
I can still get shit out of Monsters Inc. That's just a boy clocking into work. I can vibe with that.
Or even Monsters in college. Like, bro, I'm reliving my
it's
fucking college days.
Beauty of those things is that the fucking beauty of Disney specifically is that shit appeals to like adults and kids.
Yeah, everyone. Man.
They usually try to make their movies where adults can get something out of it.
Even though we give shit to Walt Disney a lot. Like,
So different. He's got some Justin Roiland-y reasons.
But at the same time, his like at least his ideals for animation and why he made it and all that, like it still stands today. And I mean, we do give him shit for a lot of things, obviously. But it's like, at the end of the day, like, he's not who he is today, or like who we know him as today, without any good reasons. Like, he is a terrible person. Like, I'm not saying he's not, but he's obviously a bit more complicated. Like, you know, than that, because he literally provided us with several fucking decades of entertainment. Like, at least a lot of the classic Disney movies and shows that we know of, all because of him.
Yeah.
And like, not that he made, like, let's say 90s Disney, but it's like, you know, from 90s and to present day, like, we got great shit from them.
The future of animation scares me. That's why we don't have really much choice but to make sure that doesn't the bad shit doesn't happen. That's why I support the New Deal for animation, as well as the New Deal for voice actors with AI shit. It's like, I feel like literally all the shit I want to do with my life that I've dreamed of for doing so long is being stricken away, like, suddenly. Like, with this fucking new AI shit for voice work, and fucking, the fact that Hollywood apparently hates animation now, because they're so fucking greedy that they don't want to pay for it, even when it's profitable for them. It's such short-sighted shit. So,
obviously, that's America
whatever.
in a nutshell, man. Like,
what a fucking country, huh? Grateful to live here, but, you know, it's got its fucking flaws, don't it?
Oh, yeah,
So, I implore you guys to learn more about the New Deal for animation. Watch the roundtable video, as well as that documentary whenever that drops. Links down in the description below.
Yeah, guys, check it out there.
We are done here. So, what were we laughing about? Oh, yeah, the Fire Nation. We were laughing about fucking Velma being the Fire Nation. Kind of makes sense. The only fire you're giving me, Daphne, is in my loins. See, in between my legs, it's like bread and butter.
Did we put up our plugs?
Not yet. Why don't you do it?
Here they are.
Why don't you do it?
Here, guys. Here's our. I'm gonna talk like. Here's our plugs, guys. You can check us out on. The fuck is this? It's like, that's how voice actors are gonna be in like 10 years from now. If like they just get any mook off the street, it's like, hey, we need you to read these lines. Instagram, Twitter. You could check us out. You could check us out on all the podcast platforms, like your mother, on Spotify, Google, Apple, all that good shit.
Don't forget the YouTube.
Don't forget the gabagool. That is. I would love it if you could just like.
Can you finish the fucking plugs?
Get gabagool and just put it as your YouTube channel. But yeah, also YouTube as well. And yeah, guys, that's gonna be our episode for today. I don't know why you're crying,
forgot to
David.
tell them to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, well, yeah, what he said.
You're fucking
anyways,
terrible at this.
that's why I'm not a voice actor, man.
You don't need to be a voice actor to do outro plugs.
I need that like as a script. But yeah, guys.
Nah, I usually do the plugs. It's fine. I'm fucking
I'll
with
never, so I'll never forget. But every time I do it, I always just like fucking ad lib.
You're an ad-libber. I can't lie. The fact that you were apparently talking the entire time I was gone when I was talking on the phone.
It was something I was genuinely curious about, but like I never actually like looked it up. Like when you go back into editing, like you'll hear like that whole bit.
Here, we'll end it by combining both topics very quickly. If Tara Strong decided to make an OnlyFans in 1 week, top like 0.5% at minimum, at least in like a month.
0.1.
Nope. She wouldn't get 0.1 in a week, but she would get
seen her?
She'd get 0.1 in a month.
I'd say 0.1 into 2 weeks.
I can agree. I can maybe see that happening. It's probably one of the only OnlyFans I'd ever sub to, and y'all know how I.
She is a strong.
Tara Strong.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, she's actually like literally too hot to only be a voice actress.
She's very strong on the front, if you know what I mean.
All right, that's enough. We'll see you in your memes. We love you.
I hate you. If your name is Josh, what was his name? Roiland, whatever the fuck your name is.
Justin Roiland.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, Justin. And if your also last name is Roiland.
Hey, dude. Hey, man. He's not gonna need to fuck himself where he's going. Well, good night.